Shalom, Apostle Tahar, coming back at you with this truth, giving all praise to Yahawah by Sham Yahawashi, by Sham Kodash. And I'm going to entitle this, Let Your Speech Be Always with Grace, Seasoned with Salt. And this is from Colossians 4, verse 5 and 6. And it says, and you can start from the first verse and read the whole chapter. A lot of meat in the chapter, but this is the point. It says, walk in wisdom toward them that are without. The them which are without are Israelites that don't know that they're Israelites. It could be Kemetic people. They could be Islam. They could be, Baptists, Methodists, Christians. It says, walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. All right? Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. So you got guys that put up videos, and it's not a sin. That don't mean that you're wicked. What you got to understand at this time now, here it is 2018, the year of prophecy. You got to think before you say something. And you got to think about how you say it. And if you say something and it comes out wrong, you got to come back and correct yourself. Okay? Like, for example, it says in the scriptures, matter of fact, let me go to it. Bear with me for a minute. Because it's dark in here, I can't see the keys too good. I'll put a light on. Okay, Leviticus 20:13. It says, and this is the law, all right? If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. So what they did in the ancient world, what our forefathers did in the ancient world, which were us, because we reincarnated, we were actually back there in different bodies, same spirit. If they found out that two men were having sex with each other, and it goes on in the law to speak about two women that have sex with each other, according to the law of the Most High that was given to Moses, this is what you do to them. You put them to death. It's called a death penalty. Okay, that's biblical. That's in the law. And that's what they did. We're in America right now. We're in 2018, the year of prophecy. Can you do that? Can you? Because you got guys that saying you got to keep the law. You got to keep the whole law. Well, that means if you see two Bati boys, hand in hand kissing one of each other, you're supposed to roll up on them and do what you got to do pursuant to the law. And when they arrest you, you say, well, you show them the law. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. So, for someone to say you got to keep the whole law is madness, because you can't keep the whole law. But now if you're teaching somebody this scripture right here, and you put it in your words, and you say, if you see two of these, go out and do what you got to do. Go out and do them. Deal with them. Well, you might have some novice dude that comes in there. He's all zealous, and he sees two Bati men, and he does what he does. It's not gonna end up good, well for him, man. So you got to make sure you explain everything that you teach, and sometimes we all guilty of this, man. At one time or another, you might blurt out something. Yeah, but then you gotta that's why when you do a video, You go back and listen to it and you say, let me change this and let me change that. That's a little too harsh. The scriptures say in Romans 13, or Romans 14, I believe it's in. Let me pull it up. Romans 14. And I haven't read this scripture in a while. Okay. Romans 14 and 1. It says, him that is weak in the faith, receive ye. You know, there's levels to this thing, man. And with Israel, with their ego, a guy comes into this thing, he's in this thing for 5 months, maybe a year, and he puts himself on a level of a guy that's been in this thing for maybe 25 years. You ain't on the same level as a guy that's been in this thing for 25 years or 10 years. And then you might have certain Israelites come into this thing. And that happens with us, that happens with IUIC, that happens with ISUPK, that happens with GOCC, that happens with all these groups. If they got some time in and they call themselves teachers or high priests or whatever they call themselves, you're going to have guys come in, and even women, they're going to be with you for about 2-3 years. Could be 5 years, could be 1 year. And all of a sudden, they get this revelation that they know more than you. And that happens, right? And you got to deal with those people as such. Eventually you got to get rid of those people, or they'll leave anyway, you know? That's why there's so many groups now. Now, Sarnetta did a live thing earlier today. I don't know if he's still doing it. And the title was something to the effect of, you got all these different Israelite groups teaching different things but the same Bible. And they're arguing, why do they teach all these different things coming out of the same Bible? Because they all wrong except for Greatmillstone. Okay? That's why you guys, you have to start watching the Greatmillstone videos. And not to knock them other groups, because hey, I can go to ISUPK video and sit there and listen to them teach and not have anything critical to say about them, because they're right on point. They're going in the scriptures. But then there's times, if they talking about the mark of the beast, is an embargo, they going off. Okay? Most Israelite groups, I'm talking mainly that come out of One West, we teach 90% of the stuff that we teach is all the same thing. There may be 5-10% that are different things. So, you know, you want to find out what the Bible is truly saying, you got to come to Greatmillstone, all right? Anyway, getting back to the scripture, Romans 14, verse 1. Him that is weak in the faith, receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations. Because you got to work with the man, all right? If the man doesn't get anything, like I'm going to give you another example. There's this one brother down with GMS that has his own camp that one of the men up under him left because we did a couple of videos dealing with Lucifer. And I think we said that we're Luciferians, or we're the true Luciferians. And I was saying that to make a point that the word Lucifer has nothing to do with the spiritual demon Satan. That the word Lucifer means bearer of the light. If I have a flashlight and it's dark, and I put that flashlight on, and you can see, me and some other people can see in the dark, guess what? I just became Lucifer. Why? Because I'm the bearer of light. That's all it means. That's all it means. And that's why we say Yahawashi is also Lucifer. See, now guys are gonna get offended. I just messed up a whole lot of people's heads because you got emotional. And that's that guy weak of faith. So you got to be careful of how you make these videos, man. And I just got on another brother or elder to call another brother or elder to tell him that he got to be careful in what he says. I'm not going to go into details. The brother, it didn't mean that the brother committed sin or anything like that. It's just that you got to watch what you say. You got to what's the word I'm looking for? You got to qualify what you're saying. Like if I read the word, come across the word Christ, I might say Christ, and then I might come back and say, when I say Christ, I'm talking about the Messiah. Now the word Christ is from the Greek word, which goes back to the Hebrew word, Mashiach, which means anointed. Okay? It says, and that's why these guys get emotional. It says, second verse, for one believeth that he may eat all things. Now somebody will read, some simple ass Christian will read that and say that means you can eat pork. No, it doesn't mean that. Meaning you can eat meat, you can eat herbs, all right? It says, for one believeth that he may eat all things. Because if you come into the faith, pursuant to the first verse, we better not catch you eating no pork, man. For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak, meaning sick, eateth herbs. And that's the only time you eat herbs, is when you're sick. When you're healthy, you don't need herbs. You can eat regular foods. But when you get sick, that's when you that's when you deal with the herbs. So now that on a spiritual sense, that means, you know, you gotta put on your kid gloves when you're dealing with a guy that's been in this thing for 6 months, a year. And you gotta know what you're saying. Let your words be seasoned with salt. And when you look up the word season in Colossians 4 and 6, and you look up the word season, the word means to prepare something. In other words, you put salt on meat before you cook the meat. Now you might put too much salt on that thing, and people eat it and spit it out because it's too salty. Or you might not put enough salt on it, where the meat tastes bland. So you got to know how to put the right amount of season on that meat. And that meat is this word, this truth that we're speaking. It said, let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not. And let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for the Most High hath received him. And it's not just talking about exclusively about meat, it's talking about the spiritual meat in a deeper sense. It says in 4th verse, who art thou that judgest another man's servant? To his own master he standeth or falleth. Yea, he shall be holding up, for the Most High is able to make him stand. So the ones of you that get this, the Most High gave it to you. The ones of you that don't get it or lose faith, you're going to fall off. 5th verse, one man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. So you get a lot of men and women that come into this thing and they get offended at something being taught, maybe the rape doctrine, right? Which we didn't even push that. That was something that Polite pulled up. Do you guys teach about? And we tried to explain it, and we gave examples of it, you know, and we broke it down. And what happened? Men with emotions ran with it, man. There's certain things you can't teach because, in other words, you got to be careful what you teach because people run with it, man. They'll take something, get it the wrong way, get emotional, and then they'll run with it, man. Like Nasrayala, he did a video on calling himself breaking down Daniel 9:27, and he cursing me out, and he's saying that rape thing was wrong. Well, wait a minute. When you was in the truth, you didn't see it was wrong because you never received it, man. And we made it crystal clear what we meant by that. We said that's talking about in the ancient world, man. I said if you do that now, guess what? You're going to get locked up. The Lord says, if you see two men with each other, you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do, pursuant to the law. But if you went ahead and did that, you'll be locked up. So the things that are spoken of in the law, you just can't do any law and just go to the white man in court and say, well, look, this is what the Bible said. They're going to look at you like you crazy. They're going to have you coming up in there with the orange jumpsuit on and chained all up, man. With that mask that this guy wore in Sounds of the Lamb. Have you looking crazy, man. Have you looking crazy. Because remember, there's a lot of emotionally disturbed people out there in the world and in Israel. You got a lot of bug outs in Israel, man. You teach something the wrong way, man, and they're gonna do something stupid. Anyway, I said enough, and I'm gonna just say shalom.